All right, thank you. Really excited for this moment, I'm going to brag about this guy a little bit, but I'm excited to announce our defensive coordinator and our associate head coach, Jay Hill. Jay, I'm excited to work with him again, but he's a local product from Lehigh, so he's a Utah County boy, and he played football at Ricks College, also played at Utah, was a cornerback, and I played in the NFL as well, went to the Bills. And so afterwards became a graduate assistant and coach for Kyle Whittingham and Ron McBride and Urban Meyer at Utah. And then I had the honor of working with him at Utah for 9 years and seeing the things that he's done there. And we speak the same language when it comes to defensive football. Saw the things that he's done when he went to, after our 9 years together, he left to be the head coach at Weber State and turned that school into a perennial power in the FCS level, going to the playoffs, FCS playoffs, 6 out of the last 7 years. And he's done an amazing job there. And looking at his career, I've been really impressed with what he's done. But I've seen it firsthand, the things that he's done, the knowledge that he has on all three phases. He is a special teams guru in addition to what he does with defense, but also he has experience coaching on the offensive side of the ball too. And so bringing all that experience and all that knowledge here to BYU, I'm really excited about. We are really fired up for the opportunity to work together again. And we're friends. And so we've been able to stay in contact throughout our years, even though we had been apart for 9 years. He and I have been able to stay in contact and still develop our friendship. My wife, Timberly, and I are really excited. Our children, we're really excited to welcome Jay Hill and his wife, Sarah, his daughters, Ashton, Elena, and Allie. Ashton, soon to be BYU graduate, and then his son, Jacob. We're excited for them to join our family, and it's my honor to introduce our associate head coach and defensive coordinator, Jay Hill.
Well, thank you, Kalani. I am super, super excited to be here at BYU. It's kind of weird to come back. As Kalani mentioned, I grew up in Lehigh. My parents went to BYU. I grew up a BYU fan. And I remember as a child going to football games in Lavelle Edwards Stadium. I remember going to basketball games regularly. My dad was a basketball fan. We'd go regularly to the Marriott Center and watch BYU basketball games. I remember having posters of BYU players in my room hanging up. So it's kind of weird how life brings you full circle in these situations like this. I'm super excited to be back. The football in the state of Utah is something that's always been super exciting to me. Having played at Utah, coached now at Weber State. Like I say, grew up playing here locally, high school football. It's always been my passion. It's something I'm excited about. Even when you're at the University of Utah or another school like that, the admiration that we had and the respect we had for BYU is big. And I know this is a place where we can play high-level football. They've done it consistently through Kalani's career. That was something very intriguing to me. And I'm excited to just see what this can become because I think the sky's the limit.
Great. Thank you both. We will start with a question from Jared Lloyd.
Jay, how tough of a challenge was it to decide to move into this role from your previous role where you'd had so much success? Just curious, how hard was that to make that choice?
Well, it was extremely difficult in that at some point you got to go tell your team that you're moving on. And those were players that I loved. Those were assistant coaches that had given their lives to us. And so to make that change was difficult. On the flip side of it, it was easy in that the opportunity to work with Kalani, again, in my respect for him and his program that he's built and everything I believe in what he's doing here made it much easier. And I believe in everything BYU's doing, the direction they're heading. And I just, the excitement of what we can continue to build that's exciting to me. That's kind of what drew me to this opportunity.
John and then Brett.
Jay, looking at the situation you're coming into here at BYU, you're joining the program just as BYU's entering the Big 12. You already went through kind of a similar transition when you were an assistant at Utah, helping the Utes when they were joining the Pac-12. What of those past experiences kind of taught you about this process and how you're going to approach helping BYU go into the Big 12?
Well, I think it's awesome, right? It's exciting for the fans. It's exciting for the coaches, super exciting for the players. The level of competition is going to be absolutely outstanding. Like I said, that's one of the things that was so intriguing about coming to BYU is this transition into the Big 12 is exciting and it's fun, right? Kalani and I both got to go through that when Utah did it. It's something that we're both familiar with. It comes down to coaching as hard as you can, having great players, which I believe we have, and just giving it your all. And I know this too. It's going to be super exciting for the fans.
Brett, go ahead.
Yeah, Jay, you've had opportunities to leave Weber State before, including to go back to your alma mater. What can you say about, I have two questions. What can you say about the timing and the opportunity of this particular moment that you felt was right for you? And then maybe if you can encapsulate kind of your time at Weber State and what that has meant to you and your family.
Absolutely. So again, I think it goes back to Kalani and what he's built here and the unbelievable program that they have here and everything that administration has done at this institution to build what they have. I mean, that's exciting to me. And that played into the timeline of, just me making this move. I also felt like we had accomplished so much at Weber State for 9 years. My wife and I and kids had put in our blood, sweat, and tears into that program, built it into something that I felt was self-sustainable now. I believe that program will continue to get better. It was the next venture in life that I really felt like we needed to take. And it's, like I say, this change is exciting for me. And it was the right time and it was the right opportunity. And I can't overemphasize enough just that Kalani was a humongous part in that timing and being able to work with him again, being able to work with Fessy and Steve Clark and some other coaches that I'd already worked with before in the past. Reuniting is exciting to me right now.
Jake and then Mitch.
Yeah, Kalani, reports out there that you guys are going to be competing more financially than you ever have before. How important was that to you to be able to attract a guy like Jay to Provo?
Yeah, just going into the Big 12 conference, it's about taking care of your program, but also taking care of your players. And you have to do everything you can as a program to function. And that means attract high-level players and also high-level coaches. And that's Jay's high-level coach. I've been able to work with him in the past. And the things I talked about were all about his coaching ability, but it's way deeper than that. He's a great evaluator and an amazing recruiter. I worked with him in recruiting. I'm excited to get back and do home visits and official visits and all that stuff like we did back in the day when we were assistants. Maybe it's just a bunch of old guys that are trying to act like they're young again, go back to what we were doing back in the days. But it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited to have him here. He's got this great, I don't know how, this presence that it's hard to really explain. He just has it. And I know it was really hard for him to leave Weber State. I know a lot of players love him and they admire the mentor that he has been to them. And same with that staff. I know that was really difficult for him. I hope he knows how much we appreciate him making that decision to come here and join us. And we'll make sure that he doesn't regret it.
Jay, you're inheriting a defense that's had some struggles this year. What can people expect in year one in the Big 12 from that defense going forward?
Well, I promise from Kalani and from myself, you're going to get everything we have. I believe we have great scheme. I believe we have great knowledge in breaking down opponents. I believe there's great players here that put in the proper situations to be able to make plays and be successful. They'll do exactly that. I'm excited to get with the players and share with them my vision and Kalani's vision of what this defense is exactly going to look like. But yeah, I'm more than anything, I'm so excited to get going and get grinding away at high level, big time Power 5 football and putting a product on the field that I promise the fans will be excited about.
You're hearing from Jay Hill, the new associate head coach and defensive coordinator with BYU football, addressing the media officially in that role for the first time with Kalani Sitake to his side on BYU TV and BYU Radio. Let's go back for more of the press conference.
Matthew.
You, Coach Hill, sorry.
Absolutely, I do. I think it's going to look very similar to what Kalani ran when he was the defensive coordinator back at the University of Utah, and we worked so closely together on that. I think it's going to look a lot like what we ran the last couple of years at Weber State that led the league every year we coordinated it, or I coordinated it in basically every defensive statistical category we had. It's going to look a lot like that. It's going to look a lot like the top-notch, big-time defenses that you see in college football right now. It will be aggressive. There will be times we play coverage. There's going to be times where we blitz. There's going to be things that we do to keep the quarterbacks on their toes. But if you ask, do we have a vision on what this defense looks like? Absolutely. I promise you, we're not coming in here blind. We know exactly what we got to implement and what it will look like.
Hey, Jay and Kalani, I'm curious, how fast did this kind of come together? Was this a months-long process? Was this a weeks-long process? I'm curious if you kind of talk a little bit about that part.
Well, our friendship's always been there, so we never stopped being friends, and we've always been in contact. And so, that's just how it is. When Jay's daughter Ashton came to BYU, he called me and Fessy and said, "Hey, you got to watch over her." And it just happens that I got to see her a lot with BYU TV, and so pretty easy, So we've had this connection as friends for many years. Once we met, we're able to work together. That's always been there. So the connection's always been there. The communication's always been there. And in regards to the job, obviously you don't have to mention stuff. You just know that I wanted to be respectful of him and his team, and he wanted to stay focused on the playoffs, and they're making a run. And I want to give him time to do that. So I didn't want to be inappropriate with our relationship and force this on him. But once the season ended for him, unfortunately for Weber, it was our gain, and I jumped to it as soon as I could and try to get this done as quickly as possible.
And from my point, I can just say Kalani and these guys were extremely professional about it. Is the thought there that we could work together at some point? Yeah, that's been there for the last 9 years. But he knew that we had something we were still trying to accomplish in the playoffs. And I knew Kalani was busy with his own football team. So it's really been just the last couple of days that things went very quickly. And like I said, that's just the nature of how these jobs go at this time.
Jared and then Jake.
This question is kind of for both of you, just about the defensive staff. Already had an announcement about Kelly Papinga returning. What's the timeline, and how are you guys looking at evaluating the current staff and kind of creating what you're going to build with the defensive staff moving forward?
Okay. Yeah. So it's already been announced. Obviously, Kelly Papinga, we're super excited about him. And that was an easy one for me because I got to coach against him when he was a player. I knew just how tenacious and what a tough guy he was. And then also when he was a coach, I mean, he developed some of the best linebackers in the last 10 years here at BYU, some phenomenal NFL guys. So that one was a no-brainer for me. We plan on retaining Gennaro Guilford. And then looking past that, it's going to be Kalani and I evaluating the rest of the staff, evaluating who's potentially is out there and making sure we get the best fits for the program. On the field, that's going to be a big deal. Who's going to do the best job coaching the current players? And then also who's going to do a phenomenal job going out recruiting and then putting those pieces in place because, that's really what we do, right? Recruit, get the best players in here, and then do the best job of putting them in positions to be successful.
Jake, go ahead.
Yeah, Coach, this I guess is for Jay, but Coach Hill, when it comes to getting the talent that you feel like you need to have to run the defense you want to run at BYU, do you feel like that's already on the roster, or is that something you're going to have to address using the portal and recruiting, et cetera?
Well, I think that's a great question. And I'm looking forward to assessing the players that are currently here. Obviously, they get the first right to anything we're doing because they're already here and they deserve that. But just know that this is a never-ending cycle in college football. It's recruiting never stops. And with the transfer portal and everything that's going on, it never stops. And so Kalani and I will work tirelessly to have the best players on the field, ones that the fans can be super excited about. But we made a name for ourselves when we were young coaches, and the way we recruited together and everything we accomplished and the big time guys that we brought into the programs where we were at. We're excited about continuing that together, and I'm excited about getting on the road and recruiting with this current staff because I know what BYU has to offer, and I know there's going to be a ton of great players that will be excited about coming here.
Matt and then Mitch.
Kalani, this one's for you, but how important was it for you to identify and get someone in place at the beginning of this transfer portal cycle?
Yeah, I mean, transfer portal is part of recruiting. And so it's important for me to get, as many guys as we can working. And the fact that we have Gennaro and Kelly and Jay available to do that makes things a lot easier for me. But I also know the type of recruiters that they are and the type of workers that they are and the mentors that they are to their players. And so I'm really excited in all aspects of our program that we're moving forward, and that I get Jay here with me. That we just want to get this press conference over with so we can go to work. And so I keep seeing all the hands showing up over here, and Jay and I just right now I'm thinking about stuff that we need to get going. He wants to meet with all the players, and so as soon as we get this done, we're going to get right back to work and get after it.
Yep.
Jay, when you mentioned earlier about getting on the road and recruiting, I'm curious, what are some recruiting areas or hotbeds that you feel you've got a lot of relationships with high school coaches, just maybe areas of the country that you feel are pretty strong in your recruiting background?
Well, that's a great question. As a head coach at Weber State, we focused mainly on the state of Utah. That's where I've done the majority of my recruiting, even when I was coaching at the University of Utah. I think first and foremost, you got to put a stake in your own territory. And then everything surrounding the state is critical. Nevada, Arizona, California, the Pacific Northwest, those will be critical hotbeds that I feel very comfortable recruiting. And then Texas as well, I think has got to be a piece. And then really this is Kalani's big vision on where do we get guys. I know recruiting here at BYU is a little different. It's such a national brand that you've got to be able to expand it past that. But I think anything surrounding the state of Utah, I'm extremely comfortable with. The state of Texas. And really those are hotbeds for any big time program out west.
Jay and then Kevin.
Yeah, welcome, Jay. You can never have too many Jays around.
I agree.
Just wanted to clarify on the other defensive coaches that have been on staff, Coach Clune and Coach Hadley. Will they be retained, or will they be evaluated? Just what is their status right now?
So that's a current consideration still with Kalani and I, and just putting the staff together. That everybody's in consideration right now, and just moving forward on exactly what that looks like. Yeah.
Jared, go ahead.
Kalani, what impact does this have on the bowl game as you make these adjustments to the defensive staff?
Yeah, I think Jay's going to be evaluating the talent, and same with Kelly, but really focusing on fundamentals and technique, whatever the expertise they can bring. But the game plan is on our graduate assistants and analysts, the ones that have been working since we knew that SMU would be our opponent. So we're going to work on that, and I think I think it'd be inappropriate for me to say, okay, Jay, let's go get going in this bowl game. He hadn't had much time to do that, but I think as soon as I think the thing he wants to do the most right now is evaluate our players and give an assessment to them on where he thinks that they sit, and then also look at the recruiting aspect and what can we do on that end, and that's going to be his primary focus. But he knows everything, and he's got knowledge in so many different ways that it'd be foolish of me not to ask him his expertise on defense, special teams, and on offense. This guy knows, and I mean, he's a great head coach, so we're definitely going to be working a lot together. But I'll get a lot of advice and counsel from him.
We'll take last question from Jay Catch.
Yeah, two, I guess, quick ones. Kalani / Jay, will Coach Hill have any role with regards to bowl preparation?
I think that's kind of what I mentioned, just focusing on helping with technique and fundamentals. I don't think it's my place to throw him into the mix when he doesn't even know our players and their talents. He's been such a great coach that he's focused on what Weber State had to do and get ready for the playoffs. It's not appropriate for me to throw him into the bowl prep other than giving some expertise in fundamentals and technique and some scheme. But this game is going to be good or bad is going to be riding on me and my calls.
And then my second one is, Kalani, would you have called Jay your top target in terms of your, I guess, list of guys you were going to try and hire?
Definitely.
All right. Thank you both for joining us. We're excited to have you aboard, Coach Hill.
Jay Hill, the associate head coach and defensive coordinator, now officially welcomed to BYU football.
Okay, so